In a recent interview on the Busted Open podcast, Billy Corgan had this to say about the NWA's relationship with YouTube.
YouTube is a terrible partner for wrestling. I'm just going to say that flat out. They've been squeezing all the wrestling content creators. YouTube doesn't pay you but pennies back for what the reach that you actually do incur. No one can quite figure it out.
So in the interest of helping out a fellow Chicagoan, let's figure it out.
Let me talk to ya!
This video is going to be an in-depth look at the NWA YouTube channel to determine if they're leveraging the platform to its fullest capabilities. I suspect that they're leaving quite a bit of money on the table. So let's dive in. So first and foremost, let's take a look at some of the search terms people are typing in to find the NWA YouTube channel. Right now, NWA Wrestling gets 51,000 searches per month, and the competition on that is only 32%. And as you can see right here through an incognito browser, NWA is controlling their SEO. With just a few results here that are from actual other channels showing classic NWA content or critical content here. Right now, there's about 7,900 searches for NWA Power each month, which is the name of their YouTube show. And the difficulty to rank on this is about 18%, so it's not that difficult. Let's see what's actually ranking for this. So the NWA is controlling NWA Power as well. I mean, it's the name of their show, so they should. Only a few of these are actually from a different channel here. I see this EC3 video is from Blood Drop Wrestling. We keep scrolling down here, then you get into some different videos. But I mean, the top ranking videos are all from the NWA channel. So they're doing well with that SEO, but there is only 7,900 people actually searching NWA Power each month. So looking at the homepage of the NWA's YouTube channel, you'll see they do have their official website front and center. Have some playlists here, full episodes. NWA, I'm not going to try to pronounce that pay-per-view because I can't say it right. It looks like Sam Hain to me, but I know that's not how you say it, but for some reason they chose that name. Yeah, you have all their most recent episodes for NWA Power listed below, but I think the presentation is good as far as the homepage goes. The trailer is just from a day ago, so they're staying current with that. The About section, you see all the social links. They don't have a description, but as I've said in other videos, it doesn't really matter. Clearly it doesn't matter because they have 269,000 subscribers, 17 million views total since 2017. One thing I will say about this homepage too, though, is that the banner image has no indication of frequency in terms of how often the channel is showcasing new episodes. So, I mean, if they have Power coming on weekly, it should say that, and it should say what day. I believe it's Tuesdays at 6:05, I believe. But see, I would know if it was written on this banner image, so that's one place where the homepage is not necessarily hitting the mark. So now we're going to take a look at the titling on the NWA YouTube channel, because it's not that great. So I like this title here, Matt Cardona and Billy Corgan Face Off, NWA Sam Hain. That makes sense. Full match, EC3 and Clearwater joined forces. Yeah, that's not bad. But then you start seeing some of these weird titles, like You Can't Touch Me. What does that mean? Do you believe in magic? Why are they so mean? The Power Couple. These are not good titles. This one's a good title. EC3 speaks on Tom's insurance policy. That's not bad. But then you look at some of the ways that they title the Power episodes. They're wasting so much space just by putting NWA Power and the episodic number there. And then it just has a general name for the actual show. Keep Your Enemies Close. You should take the most popular wrestlers from that episode and then just put their names in there. But picking out which wrestlers might be difficult because even on this episode, the NWA seems to think that Tom Latimer is Tommaso Ciampa, who's signed to the WWE. You want these very specific terms, these SEO terms, which would be the names of the wrestlers who the world knows and loves, and you want to put those first and foremost in your titles. NWA Power episode 128, that doesn't matter so much. People know it's NWA Power because you have it on this very snazzy thumbnail. And episode 128, that's not going to mean anything to anybody. Nobody's going to care about that. And nobody's definitely going to search that. They're not going to say, oh, geez, last week was episode 127. I better search up NWA Power episode 128 this week so I can find it. No, if they're subscribed, they'll find it. So anyone who's actually watched episode 127 that's going to worry whether or not they're watching the next episode, they're going to be subscribed to your channel anyway. But when you're putting out videos that have notable characters like Violent J and Vampiro, and you're calling it They're Not Waiting for the Pay-Per-View, it's not going to fare well. It's not going to do that great. When you could really just title that Violent J versus Vampiro, that would be much better. You have the same situation here with the Unfinished Business title. Like, just call that Violent J and Vampiro Unfinished Business. So if we're going to dive deeper into the titling of these playlists, the first error I see here is full episodes. What does that mean? We know what it means, but from a search engine optimization standpoint, nobody's going to find that if they're searching for NWA on YouTube or wrestling in general. So you'd be better off calling that NWA Power full episodes in parentheses. Would be a good way to phrase that. Here we have NWA Sam Hain. Yes, I know that's not how you say it. That's not a bad playlist title. I think that's okay. And here you have specific playlists for the actual episodes of NWA Power, and I really think that's necessary. So if we go to the playlist page, we can kind of see some of these other playlists that they have here on the NWA. The vast majority of these other playlists, they don't really have a good SEO value to them. You have full matches, full episodes, Crockett Cup, that's okay. Moments, I mean, what does that mean? So after clicking the Moments playlist, we see that there's a variety of different videos here. A lot of these videos on here don't have bad titles. My advice for the playlist would be to be more descriptive in terms of what you're titling it. Like the NWA 75, that's fine. That was one event that they had. NWA Hard Times, that's one event that they had. That makes sense. That one should be NWA Race to the Chase, because Race to the Chase, I mean, that could mean anything by itself, but NWA Race to the Chase, NWA High Voltage, those ones make sense. NWA Power, even that makes sense, but some of these are just too general, like Moments, full matches, full episodes, what you missed. I mean, what does that mean? It's not going to rank, basically, and that's not going to do you any favors on YouTube. One thing I will say is the NWA has great thumbnails. There's nothing wrong with these thumbnails whatsoever. I mean, even though they're throwing that Power logo and they're pretty large, it doesn't matter because the wrestlers are super large on there, so they're actually doing a great job. Whoever's making the thumbnails on this channel is doing excellent. There's no criticism to be had on any of these thumbnails. They're all very action-packed. You have the branding there, but the branding's not overpowering. You have recognizable wrestlers all over the place on these, so I wouldn't change anything about these thumbnails. You're doing a great job with that. One place that most YouTube channels are still faltering is the community tab, but the NWA YouTube channel is doing great here. So you'll see their most recent post on the community tab showcases their magazine, and you see they're getting the engagement. 423 thumbs up, 20 comments. Long time ago, I looked at their community tab and noticed that they did not link their NWA Tix website correctly here to sell tickets to their event, but I did notice that they are linking their YouTube videos correctly. And this right here is exactly how they should be promoting their YouTube videos, with an image and the link. I guarantee you they're getting a lot more views from this than if they were just sharing the actual video, which almost gets you no engagement. So you can see here, this was a month ago, they were promoting this video with these images, and they received 394 thumbs up and 16 comments. But now when you look at the comments on their community tab, are they engaging? No. The NWA channel is not engaging these comments that I can see. Whereas they could actually even leave a comment here and make it a pinned comment, be something that simple. You go ahead and link the money link to go ahead and order the pay-per-view. Now, clearly the ad copy is going to be a little bit better than that, but I'm just using that to illustrate the possibilities that they're missing out on. Because Billy Corgan has emphasized the fact that they're not making enough money with YouTube. But on YouTube, you can't depend on ad revenue to make money. You make money when you sell pay-per-views. Now, I don't know how many pay-per-views they're selling, but they'd be selling a lot more probably if they had a pinned comment on all their posts about how to purchase the pay-per-view. And those pinned comments would only be strengthened if they're actually regularly engaging these people that are commenting on their content, because these are going to be your most engaged users. These are your most engaged viewers right here in the comments. So when you don't engage them with responses, they're probably going to be less likely to buy. Whereas if you actually develop some rapport as a brand with your people here in the comments, they're going to be more likely to buy. And then you wouldn't be worried about the YouTube ad revenue because you'd be making all your money selling pay-per-views via YouTube. One place where all YouTube channels have been able to see sustained growth over time, and even in short spurts, has been shorts. No pun intended there. NWA doesn't have a ton of shorts. Some of these shorts are a little bit lazy because they didn't even go full vertical. They left the horizontal in the middle. And if we're going to sort this by most popular, the number one short is this Tom Latimer threatening to cash in the NWA television title at NWA 75 for a shot at Tyrus or EC3. There's really not a lot of rhyme or reason to any of these shorts. I mean, you see this one's title is September 7th, 2023. That tells me that whoever's uploading these videos forgot to title it correctly. This one is July 11th, 2023, so they didn't title that right. They just didn't put any title in. That probably was the default. Or maybe they really wanted to commemorate that date for some reason, but I doubt it. This is a place where they could actually be taking clips of the most exciting parts of their NWA Power weekly show, putting it in here, taking some of their most notable wrestlers in there. Might be a good place to put some Eli Drake clips. They do own the rights to that, so why not put him out there? I mean, he's big as LA Knight right now. You'd get some traction with that. It's basically the same character. So taking a look at some of the live streams that the NWA's done on YouTube, you'll see it's mostly podcast format, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They have some pre-shows on here as well that seem to do very good. So the Sam Hain pre-show, for example, did 22,000 views. Kind of jump in there. I'm just curious if the live chat is still there. So if we're going to look at the live chat replay on this, let's see if NWA actually engages. I don't see the NWA account really jumping in here. This would be a great place for the NWA to jump in. Here we see an order link, so that does make sense. That's actually good form right there. That's exactly what they should be sharing in that. This is the pre-show. You want people to order, so that makes sense right there. Problem is on this pre-show, you have the correct link, but what does that say right there? Pre-order NWA 75. Now, for those in the know, NWA 75 happened quite a long time ago. This was the pre-show for Sam Hain. Yes, I know I'm saying it wrong. So the link is correct, but the titling's wrong. So you never know. You may have actually dissuaded some people from clicking that link because they might think it's an old dead link if they're not savvy enough to actually read what the text says right here. Any pinned comments in here? No, they could have pinned the comment about buying the pay-per-view there as well. And I do like that they said that right there, but do they say it again? So that was 10 minutes into the show. Let's go 20 minutes into the show. We don't see that. What about at the very end? Do they jump back in and say, this is how you can purchase the pay-per-view? No. You can't necessarily, or you shouldn't necessarily complain about the revenue that you're pulling off of YouTube if you're not pulling out all stops to make that revenue. You could have been in here engaging the chat and then sliding that link in every so often, for every 10 engagements. You don't want to pump it to where you're just stuffing that link in the live stream constantly, but you have people making comments about the product here. You could engage them in that conversation, get one of your commentators in here, or anybody. You could have them kayfabe it out, have one of your wrestlers jump in and engage. Preferably, it should probably be a commentator, but that same commentator could then slide those money links in there and you can get people to order. They'll be more likely to order because you've developed some sort of rapport with them through that live chat. It's a great tool that you can utilize on YouTube that you can't utilize on the CW. So let's take a look at their most successful video and see if the NWA has ever replied to any comment. There's no real engagement on any of these comments. So let's sort it by top comments. But you see, this is still getting comments 3 days ago. This one has 88 replies on this comment. I don't see the NWA anywhere in these replies. This one only has 19 replies. No NWA in those comments. This one has 2 replies. No NWA. And also, worth pointing out, this is the most popular video on the channel. It's still getting views every day, I would imagine, since it's actually getting comments every few days. So let's touch on a few things here. These people are still commenting on this video, and it's from 2 years ago, and they're commenting pretty frequently. Don't you think it would be a good idea to maybe have a pinned comment about your most recent event that people can order on Fight TV, or your upcoming event to generate some ticket sales? I mean, you could pin that comment right in here, and then these people that are coming to this video after 2 years of it being out there, they could go ahead and engage that. They could become buyers because your commenters are always going to represent your most engaged audience. Even if they're commenting negative things, they're still taking time out of their day to come over here and commenting on your video. And those are the people that you could actually monetize, and you could use YouTube as a conduit to make that money. That's the biggest misconception about YouTube, is that you're going to make money off of the ads. You're not going to make the money off of the ads. This is where you can make the money by throwing in a pinned comment and getting people to order your pay-per-view or buy tickets or even send a merch link. If you were, for example, I know they don't have this, but if Awesome Kong and Gail Kim were regular wrestlers on their roster, they could put links to their merchandise and pin that into this, because they're still getting massive amounts of views on this 2 years after the fact, and they're engaged views, and we know this because people are commenting, but the NWA is not replying to the comments, nor is there a pinned comment where they can monetize. Let's even look in the description here. Now, we see here about a full replay of Empower, so that's good right there. I would put that at the very top here. So they did that correctly, and they're doing this, the Fight TV NWA Power, but I believe that that's an outdated link. So that's another thing you need to look at in these descriptions, especially on older videos that may still be popular. You'll have instances of this where there's outdated links that could be generating revenue, but in the case of this, somebody might think, oh, NWA is not on Fight anymore. So are they going to click the other links? You got to ask yourself these things when you're worried about the amount of money that you're making off of YouTube. So in the interest of fairness, let's go ahead and take a look at one of these videos that is also one of the most popular, that's only from 4 months ago. Maybe they weren't replying to comments 2 years ago, maybe they're not paying attention to some of these older videos, but this one's only 4 months old, so let's see what's going on here. First and foremost in the description, we see for the Crockett Cup, see if that link is still live. Link is live. We can buy it for $44. Now let's take a look and see if we are active in these comments. Nothing there. No replies to any of these, so the NWA is not here replying. Here's a reply. It's not the NWA. So yeah, I don't think we need to scroll any further. There's no replies to those comments. Let's sort these comments by newest first. And you'll see about a month ago we had a Russian comment. I'm not sure what that says. We have some that looks like Hindi maybe. It's worth pointing out though, this is one of their most successful videos and we do not see that pinned comment there as I described on the other videos. So this is not something that the NWA has integrated into their marketing plan as of yet, but they should. So only a couple of weeks ago, it looked like NWA had a TV deal with the CW, but in light of NXT's announcement that they'll be moving to the CW, that's clearly not the case. But what is Billy Corgan really missing out on not being at the CW? The CW network reaches 100% of US television households, but right now the CW averages about 680,000 nightly primetime viewers of any age. And this is down 3% from the same date range last season. The average viewer on the CW is 57 years old. What do we know about pro wrestling? It's always grown through the youth. The people that are watching these wrestling programs right now, including my generation, are people that watched it when they were children. If your average primetime viewer is 57 years old, how many kids are you going to reach? And right now you only have 55,000 viewers between the ages of 18 and 34 watching the CW nightly. 174,000 primetime viewers are between the age of 18 and 49 on the CW. It says right here, the CW generally struggled in the Nielsen ratings from its inception, primarily placing 5th in all statistics tabulated by Nielsen. On several occasions, the CW was even outrated by the Spanish programming on Univision. It's weird to me in the era of YouTube and podcasting that wrestling promoters still think television is the way to go. I mean, it's not the Monday Night Wars anymore. The audiences are not growing on television. It would be like Theo Vaughn getting excited because CBS Radio cut him a deal to go on AM radio.
AM radio is a viable and modern source for news and entertainment.
His show would die. Nobody listens to radio. Very few people still watch television, so it's insane to me that somebody would think that that's a growth opportunity, whereas, yeah, it's definitely a revenue opportunity to make some quick money, but I don't see it growing anyone's product. The same way that YouTube can. A lot of wrestling creators and a lot of creators in general believe that the platform of YouTube just simply doesn't pay enough, but I also believe that these people are not leveraging the platform of YouTube correctly. Because yeah, you're never going to make crazy amounts of money off of the ad revenue on YouTube unless you're one of these big creators like a Jake Paul or some of the Ryan's Toy Reviews, you know, all these different people that have excelled at that. But the average YouTube channel is not going to make a crazy amount off of the ad rev. But a YouTube channel right here that has 269,000 subscribers should be able to flip these pay-per-views pretty easily. And you can do that by having the pinned comments, engaging your audience through comments, engaging your audience during the live streams. YouTube's a place to grow. Think about the most successful creators on YouTube. They're people that children gravitate to. Wrestling's always been popular with kids because they're probably able to suspend their disbelief a little bit better. But if you're not actually gravitating towards those audiences, or you're going to place your entire flagship program on a network that caters to people over the age of 50 more than anything, I mean, how long do you think that's going to actually sustain the brand? How long do you think they're even going to keep that contract valid? Probably just for the entire term, but 57-year-olds usually don't watch pro wrestling. In conclusion, I do think that the NWA has massive opportunities on YouTube that they haven't fully realized yet because they're not engaging their audience. They're not putting the money links where they need to all of the time. So there's always room for improvement. And I'll say this, Billy Corgan doesn't need to be putting money into wrestling. Billy Corgan's putting money into wrestling because he loves wrestling. He doesn't need to be running the NWA. He didn't need to buy the NWA. He doesn't need to be out there spending his time trying to make this successful. I mean, he has a young family. He could be spending time with his wife and kids, but he's choosing to be a part of the NWA. And I'd say that that's a very nice gift that Billy's giving to the wrestling industry. But I also think a lot of his frustrations are just because he doesn't fully comprehend the opportunities that exist on YouTube, just based on that interview he did on Busted Open. I don't see TV being viable for wrestling. The only wrestling organization that benefits well from television deals is the WWE. So these networks aren't necessarily paying for pro wrestling when they pay these high rights fees to the WWE. They're paying for the rights to WWE. That's because the WWE is really the only mainstream promotion that can command the viewership that it does, but even that viewership is down tremendously when you're looking at the ratings from the Monday Night Wars. I mean, and to be excited about going on a platform like the CW that can only command less than 1 million viewers in prime time, I mean, that should show you right there that television is a bygone platform for the consumption of media. It's streaming, it's YouTube more than anything, and, you know, there's ways that you can enhance your earning capabilities on YouTube. And hopefully Billy and his team start to do that, because I wish him the best. Like I said, Billy doesn't have to be doing this. He's doing it out of love for wrestling, and I think that that's commendable. He doesn't have to be doing it. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more videos like this, full reviews of YouTube channels. If you have any questions about YouTube SEO, or you'd like for me to look at your YouTube channel, go ahead and comment on this video and I'll take a look. I also have a Facebook group that you can check out and a Quora page where I answer questions about YouTube SEO regularly. You can find that in the description of this video. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Video SEO Club.